Hi, I'm Jo Marquette. My students call me Dr. Marquette, and I'm glad you're here. I'm thinking about New Year's resolutions, and I know tons of people don't even make them because they get so disappointed with themselves by January 7th when they've not done most of what they plan to do. But that doesn't have to be you this year. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know that I'm a high school English teacher, but what you might not have known is that I've taught every grade from 8th grade all the way up to doctoral students. And for the past decade or so, I've gone back to my high school classroom and have introduced the Goals Project in January. And I think that what we've done as a class might help you in your goals for this year. I really love this project because I've heard so many great examples of how tracking goals on a week-to-week basis has really helped improve my students' ability to keep their New Year's resolutions. If only for 8 weeks, because that's as long as a marking period lasts, and that's how we did our project. So the first step is to intentionally choose the goals. And I emphasize to my students that they can be anything, but they have to be personal to them and something they really want to do. Because otherwise, there's not a whole lot of motivation if they're just doing it to complete a project. And while I don't limit the number of goals that they can choose, I do ask that they choose at least 3. I look forward to it every year because I know that along with my students, I'll get to work on things that have been personal to me as well. So I've been thinking about what resolutions I want to do for the next 7 or 8 weeks, and I wrote them down. These are mine. First, I need to declutter all of my email accounts. Come on, I can't be the only one who has tons and tons of unread emails across multiple email accounts. 2, declutter all of the pictures and videos that I have on my phone, on my computer. That's going to be a big job. 3, I signed up for a half marathon. I've done a number of them, so I know that I can be successful. I'm slow, but I finish. And the next several weeks will be training for that. A new one is that I'd like to experiment with another editing program. And that's a big learning curve. So I'm going to have to really cut out some time in my day to dedicate to learning this new program. And then, like so many people, diet and exercise. So for diet, I'm going to choose to cut out sugar, and exercise is going to be a hard one. I'm going to try to exercise in some way, some capacity every single day. I'm going to limit my drinks to protein shakes, water, electrolyte water, tea, and coffee. I did weigh myself this morning, and while I really am reticent about publicizing how much I weigh, if my channel doubles in size from 109 to at least 200, then I will share that information. I hope this all works out. Let me know in the description box what you think your intentional resolutions will be this year. Step 2 is to imagine all the positive changes that will happen in our lives as a result of achieving these goals. Studies have shown that visualization really has helped student athletes, so I thought, why not try it with our New Year's resolutions? So in my classroom, I ask my students to create a PowerPoint of at least 1 slide per goal, and then go to Pinterest or Google Images or find images somewhere and create what a lot of people call vision boards. Creating these vision boards really helps to solidify our big why, what we want to get out of them, what we want and imagine our lives to feel like and be like. Step 3 is to write out week by week what the plan will actually be. And this is crucial to the plan's success. Week by week, write down what specific and measurable tasks will attain our goals. An example plan might look like this. The overall plan could be organizing my physical space. And then underneath it, we would break out week by week what would be done in order to achieve that goal. So for example, perhaps week 1 is to tackle the closets and the dressers. Week 2 would be to clean up and organize the bedroom itself. Then week 3, see if you can clean out the pantry and declutter the kitchen. Week 4, tackle those junk drawers. We all have them. Week 5, week 6, and week 7 might all be dedicated to the same space, that garage that we've been meaning to clean out for the last how many years. So to tackle a big project like that, look at the whole area and decide, okay, this is area A, this is area B, and this is area C. And then clean out one area per week. If you have one more week, week 8, maybe that's dedicated to where you actually work, your workspace, your work desk, the drawers, and get that all under control. I linked a calendar that I've used for the last couple of years in the description box, so check that out and maybe that might help. Step 4 has to do with accountability, and that means sharing our goals with other people. And sometimes that can be really scary, but if we share our goals with others, then we can be more accountable to how we are progressing. I acknowledge that not all students want to share all of their goals, but I do encourage them to share at least one with the class. And I've been surprised over the years that my students have been very open to sharing all of their goals. And some have included personal things like finally following their doctor's orders by going gluten-free. And other students have shared that they were intentional about developing a better relationship with their siblings or their parents. Some have shared their nightly facial routines, and I've even had some students share that they felt that their shyness was really holding them back. So their goals were things like intentionally volunteering more in class, or even walking down the hall with their head up instead of down. Planning and preparation for this project ends with step 4. Step 5, 6, and 7 all revolve around execution, reflection, and sharing the progress. Step 5 is executing the plan. And for this, tracking goal-related behavior really helps quantify the daily progress. I recommend that everybody fills out their tracking chart on their own time, but I know that that doesn't always happen. So every Monday I provide time in my class for my students and for me to reflect on how we did that week, how we felt about our progress or lack thereof. Step 6 is reflection. During that reflection time that I provide on Mondays, we not only make sure that the tracking chart is filled out, I also ask them to write several sentences for each one of their goals and think about what went well and what they still need to work on. I call them wins and work-ons. I really stress that missing one goal or not doing it exactly the way they planned that week does not mean that it's a failure, and that goals are fluid. Maybe they were sick that week. Maybe they had some challenges at home that they had to put off their goals in order to take care of that. The first couple of weeks, I really suggest that they stick to their original goals. However, at week 3, if there still hasn't been any progress at all, I really encourage them to let go of that goal or to modify it, because the goals are meant for them to feel good about themselves, to improve in some way. So if the goal isn't working for them, they're in charge of the goal. The goal is not in charge of them. So I give them full permission to change or modify their goals by around week 3, because they're supposed to really make them feel good about themselves, not be a source of more mental stress. So after they've filled out their charts, they've written their couple of sentences of reflections, of wins and work-ons, we'll all get up, go to a place on the whiteboard, and I have whiteboards along 3 of my 4 walls, and we'll all write down at least one win and one work-on and put our name on it. I ask my students to then walk around to all of their peers and write a little note of encouragement. For the remaining weeks of the marking period, we loop those steps 5 through 7, and each week the students will report how they're doing. I've refined this project over the years to what it is that I just shared. I've seen so much positive change, not only my students, but I've experienced it too because I do it with them. Some of the real success stories have been astonishing. Students have reported big changes from losing weight to saving hundreds of dollars. One even saved, I think, over $1,000, and many cut down on social media consumption that has an effect on how they feel in their own mental health. Others have strengthened relationships at home and at school and have gotten better with their grades. And one student even opened a stock account and made a really good return on investment. I hope this has all helped you. Please tell me what your goals are and if you'd like to hear a follow-up on our weekly progress.